you've ever wondered why some of the daisy knot patterns you see vary a little bit from pattern to pattern, that is probably because they are. And in this video, I'm going to be walking you through some of those differences and also some of the different ways to make the daisy knot patterns. Hey everyone, it's Nicole here from Bochiknot Macramé. I'm always on the lookout for new knot patterns and unique and chic designs, and that's why I'm consistently and constantly experimenting with knot patterns and coming up with new techniques. And today I wanted to share with you guys 4 different ways to make a daisy knot pattern. This is a fun and versatile knot pattern that you can incorporate into almost any macrame project to brighten it up. And little did you know, there are a few different ways to make the daisy knot pattern, and I will be walking you through 4 different ways in this video. If you're anything like me and you enjoy learning new knots, knot patterns, or knotting techniques, then this is a must-watch. And with that said, let's jump right in. To demonstrate these knot patterns, I'll be using a long wooden dowel along with some 4mm braided cords in these 4 colors here, in sea green, sky blue, canary yellow, and peach pink. For more details on our super soft and flexible braided cotton cords, you can find out more with the links that I'll post in the video description below. For the first daisy pattern, I will be using 2 strands of cord in 2 different colors. For the pink color, we'll be using a 150cm strand, and for the green color, we will be using a 100cm strand. Taking the slightly shorter green colored cord folded in half, we're going to attach it onto the dowel with a lark's head knot just to mount it on the dowel. Take the 2 vertical cords and overlap them in the opposite direction. Then take that 1 strand of pink cord, fold it in half. We are going to attach it onto the overlapped cords with a reverse lark's head knot. Now, taking the middle right cord as a working cord, make a vertical lark's head knot onto the outer far right cord. The vertical lark's head knot that we will be making here is going to be facing the inside of the daisy knot. So we started by going over and through the right, and then under and through the right. And then once you tighten, you see that the vertical lark's head knot loop is on the inside of the flower. So now we're going to do the same thing on the right side, mirroring what we just did on the left. And now we can overlap the anchor cords again, then taking the middle right and left cords, make a half hitch knot on both sides. And now we are done with our first daisy knot pattern here. Because we made the vertical lark's head knot on the inside of the daisy pattern, you will see that this daisy knot pattern version has more rounded edges on both sides. Now, continuing this pattern as a sonnet, just overlap and crisscross your anchor cords again, and then start with the half hitch knots on both sides, and then complete the rest of the daisy knot pattern similar to how we had done the one above. And then repeat this pattern as many times as you'd like underneath. And we are now complete with our first daisy knot pattern, probably the most simplistic one out of the 4 I will be showing you today. And then on to daisy knot pattern number 2. We will be using 3 strands of cord for this one, 150 centimeter pink strand of cord, 125 centimeter green strand of cord you see already attached, with a lark's head knot onto the dowel, and then a 3rd strand of cord at 100 centimeters long, and that'll be the yellow cord. Overlapping the 2 vertical cords again, taking the strand of pink cord, fold it in half, attach it onto the overlapped cords with a reverse lark's head knot, then pull on the anchor cords to tighten. Now what we're going to do on the right side is we're going to make a vertical lark's knot, but this time we're making it facing the outer sides. So starting by going over and through the right, and then under and through the right to tighten, and then you should see the loop on the right side. Now we're going to repeat the same pattern on the left side, repeating what we just did on the right. Once we're done, we're going to push the pink cords to the inside of the pattern so that instead of being the far left and right cords, they're the middle 2 cords now. And then we're going to overlap the middle 2 cords like so. Then taking our yellow strand of cord, fold it in half, attach it here with a reverse lark's head knot. What we're doing here is adding another strand of cord in the center of the flower to give it a bit more interest with a separate color and then another knot as well. Once it's attached and tightened, we will take the green anchor cords and the pink working cords for another vertical lark's head knot on the right side, and then repeat the same thing on the left side. And we're still going to do the same vertical lark's head knot facing the outer sides. Now you can use the outer or inner facing vertical lark's head knots with any daisy knot pattern. This is really just a personal preference on which style you like better.
Now cross over the anchor cords, and then take the far left and right pink cords and make a half hitch knot. We're going to ignore the yellow cords for now. For this particular daisy knot pattern, to make it a senet, because there are some extra cords with the yellow cords, we're just going to add a square knot using the green cords to hide all of the other cords inside before we start our next daisy knot pattern. Now this is not absolutely necessary. You can continue with the daisy knot patterns downwards without the square knot. All you have to do is just take the green cords, overlap it, and start over again, and then just bring the yellow cords through the middle of the daisy knot pattern once you get there. Now I'll show you how we do that once we arrive at the middle section of this next daisy knot pattern. Now that we're here, we're going to overlap the pink cords, take the yellow cords from behind, and make a half hitch knot on both sides. So it's a similar pattern to how we had closed off and started off every daisy knot pattern. Then finish off the rest of the pattern similar to how we had done it above. And then repeat below. For daisy knot pattern number 3, we will be using 2 strands of cord to make this, an 125 centimeter blue cord and a 175 centimeter pink cord. So the blue cord's already attached onto the dowel with a lark's head knot. Then take our pink cord, fold it in half, attach it onto the overlapped crisscross blue cords with a reverse lark's head knot. What's super special about this particular knot pattern is we're going to incorporate beads in the middle instead of another added colored cord. So we're going to make a vertical lark's head knot, an outer facing one on both sides. Now we're going to bring the pink cords to the middle, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take a large hole bead. So your large hole bead when using 4mm strands of cords should be at least 7mm in diameter. Now here I have taken the middle left pink cord and I threaded through the large hole bead to the right. Then I'm going to take the right cord, thread it through to the left of the bead. And then once it's threaded through on both sides, we pull on the cord ends to tighten. Now make one more vertical arc head knot on both sides and then finish off the bottom by crisscrossing the anchor cords. Then make 2 half-hitch knots. Now what we're going to do is repeat this pattern over again by crisscrossing the anchor cords on top, make the 2 half-hitch knots, and then complete the rest of the daisy knot pattern similar to how we had done it above. And now we are complete with the daisy knot pattern with beads. As for the last daisy knot pattern, I'm going to show you a slightly larger daisy knot pattern using 2 strands of cord in the middle instead of 1. So we're again using 175 centimeter pink strands of cords and 125 centimeter blue strands of cords. We're going to crisscross the blue cords once it's attached onto the dowel with a lark's head knot, and then taking our 2 pink cords, we're going to make reverse lark's head knots onto the crisscrossed overlapped blue cords. It is personal preference whether you want to use outer or inner facing vertical lark's head knots for this pattern. I'm going to choose to use inner facing vertical lark's head knots since we have made outer facing for some of the other ones. Now, because we're going to be threading a bead through the middle of this pattern, instead of just making 1 vertical lark's head knot on both sides, we're actually going to add 2 consecutive vertical lark's head knots on both sides. Depending on the size of the bead, you can make as many vertical lark's head knots as you need to for the size to cover the whole bead, and you'll see what I mean when we thread the bead through the middle. So now taking the middle 2 cords, we're going to thread the bead through. Because we use 2 strands of pink cords here, we don't have to use the other set of cords because we already have 2 designated cords in the middle for the beads. Now, if you need more vertical larcet knots here, you will see that you won't be able to wrap the left and right pattern around the bead, and you will need to add more vertical larcet knots. But because our bead fits perfectly with the 2 vertical larcet knots on both sides, we can now close it off with 4 half-inch knots at the bottom. So start with the far left and right cords, 4 half-inch knots on both sides first, then with the middle 2 cords, bring both cords up and through the middle, and then pull the cords to the back. And then to tighten this part, just pull on the anchor cords and then also the vertical cords to tighten. Now to start the next one at the bottom, you just start the same way as we had ended the last one with the 4 half-inch knots. And then finish off the remaining pattern. And now you can repeat for as many daisy knot patterns as you'd like underneath.
I really hope you guys found this video helpful to you when learning about the daisy knot pattern and the different ways you can change up a knot, just like the inside or outside version of the vertical larcet knot, to make it look a little bit different. I hope you guys enjoyed what you learned from this video, especially when it comes to the different ways you can change up just one slight knot to make it a different daisy knot pattern. One small subtle change, like the outside or inside version of the vertical lark's head knot, can really change how the overall daisy knot pattern looks. There are also other things you can consider to elevate the look of the daisy knot pattern, whereby it being adding another colored cord in the center of the daisy knot pattern like I showed you in this video, or adding beads or another knot instead. There are still so many different ways to incorporate the daisy knot pattern into your macrame designs, and if you're interested in learning more, let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up and click the subscribe button if you want to learn more knots, knot patterns, and knotting techniques. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.